Wow. Wish I'm with a YouTube. It's your boy. Back with another mother video. You heard me? It's the one and only Joshua J. Trees. You dig? Man. Boy, I got some shiggity to tell y'all. I tell you that. We gonna So what I'm gonna do with this video, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Shout out to y'all, man. Been following my journey, been following the Lessons Never Lost series, man. We're gonna keep that going. We're gonna run that up. You heard me? Man, I've been going through it. Them Apex accounts, I deep fried, crispy. I deep fried, sauteed, after marinating, and straight blew them accounts. They gone. That's okay though. That's okay. We ain't gonna let that stop us. But I'll talk to y'all about that at the end of the video. Make sure you stay to the end of the video so we can talk about that, right? Man, bro. Your boy been going through it. I'm gonna explain all that to y'all. But we're gonna start off with Lessons Never Losses. I got 2 new accounts with this other prop firm. But y'all can put in the comments if y'all traders and y'all know about this company. I've been hearing some bad news about them after I purchased it. They've been around for a year. Funded Futures Family, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, possibly. I think that's what it is. Let me see, y'all. Let's see what's happening, bro. No, it's not on now. I want to get back on TradingView too. Back in the day, TradingView used to be my baby, y'all. For real. I want to get back on that, but ever since I switched over to trading ticks, I don't know if I have to check it out today and see if ticks works underneath the prop firm. Does the prop firm pay for the ticks, on TradingView, the ticks version, to be able to see the charts in the ticks? Because I use 1,000 ticks because I'm trading futures. I can trade off the 5-minute. I can do top-down analysis, you know. But I got a large win rate for using 1,000 tick chart over a year span, so I just stuck to it. But anyways, I do want to see that correct name. Let me see. Funded Futures Family. I heard a lot of bad news about them. I should have did my research a little more. But I purchased them. It is what it is. We'll just call it like one of my little partners call it Jeremy Futures. He calls it we just gonna run drills and see if we get a payout, if that. But I got deep fried last night again. It's okay though. We've been taking one trade. That was my first trade on these accounts. So let's run through it. We're going to do a Lessons Never Lost series. If it's your first time watching the journey of Joshua J. Trades, if this is your first time in the futures market, or, you know, first time on my channel, you know what I mean, period, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and make sure you share it, you know what I mean, so we can get across to as many people as possible with this journey. I try to upload at least once or twice a week. I don't want to be subject to just, I gotta upload, you know what I'm saying? So I don't set no goals for that, but I do try to get out at least 1 to 2 pieces of content a week, you know what I'm saying? So y'all can see my journey, right? So I'm very much authentic with my journey. So I don't sit here and just show all of my wins. I do show losses, and I explain why I lost, why I feel like I lost, and you know, so that people can get the authenticity from me, but also that connection we could build that, especially if you're new, because you're gonna get deep fried a lot when you're new. So shout out to y'all for watching though. So let's get started on this segment. So I decided to trade on a Sunday. That was already against my rules, I guess, because the previous Sunday I had won, so I decided to trade again. I typically trade during London, 3 a.m. in the morning. So that's when I look for my setups around 2:30, 2:45, London session, right? And what I seen when I came in to, so we're gonna run it back. Let me see. We're gonna run it all the way back. You dig? So we're gonna run it all the way back. We're going off of yesterday's volume profile, right? So we marked that up. Less is more, so I went on ahead and took the point of control off, and I took the point of control off because I felt like it was hindering trying to look at so many different confluences just to enter the trade and still lose and get beat up and beat yourself up. So I'm just like, shit, I'm just gonna straight go with what it is that I was taught, the base, going back to the basics, right? So this is the volume profile. It's a system I learned through my mentor JD. The description is down below in the description if y'all want to check it out. But and so I learned, which I just now thought about this. I didn't have a trade last night. I mean, per se, I didn't, because I'm in between the volume profile. When you're in between the volume profile, you're in what we call the volume profile range, right? So you're in a range, and typically when you're in this range, you're not looking for trades per se until you get to one of these key entry points, right? Because what these key entry points are going to do, they're going to kind of tell you situational, where price could potentially be going, okay? So as you can see here, for instance, this right here, right? 5 p.m. we had the opening right here. We had a drop, which we had a gap, okay? So with that gap, we know that typically after price drops like that with the market open, we could potentially go back and get this gap, okay? Now it's just a matter of when does price action go back and get this gap? Now, if you know that you're shooting to go get that gap, and if you know certain formations, which you'll see right here, you see the drop, you see up, you see down, you see continuation, that's a W pattern. Now, it don't always happen this easy, but if I would have per se traded during, because this is the Asian session right here. If I would have decided to trade Asian session, right, this is something that JD teaches. If we zoom in, even though we're in a range in between the volume profile, we can see that we have an indication showing that price wants to go fill that gap, number one, and potentially go hit the top of that volume profile for a higher price, right? For a higher bidding price. So the thing that JD teaches us is once it goes above this 21 EMA, if you get a close above this 21 EMA and you get a higher low, right, which is this candle right here, and the next candle after this, you get what we call an indication candle, a candle that engulfs both of these on both of the previous candles, right? That's an entry right here. So right here is an entry. You dig? So here's my entry if I would have traded Asian session, right? So you got an entry, you put your stop loss below here, and you probably got I can't measure that on here, but you probably got a 2-to-1. You got more than a 2-to-1. You got a 3-to-1, 4-to-1. You know what I'm saying? So if you're risking $200, you probably could have made $600 to $800. You would have made way more. I think you would have made more than that. I'm not good at counting ticks without using tools. You dig? So let me see. And as you can see, the reason why the key entry point, which is the volume profile lines, is so important to me is, as you can see, it rejected off of it and this will be considered a range fade, right? So within the range, it bumps right off that key entry point. You know what I'm saying? It wicked out. It wicked out, probably took some money or whatever. So probably some liquidity out there at a higher price. And it sold off at a higher price, right? Right off the key entry point. That was an entry right there. We call that a range fade, you dig? So it fades off the range. This is the range. This is the range right here, and it fades off the range. Now that I think about it, I should have traded Asian last night if that's the case, because I got deep fried during London. But we also at 5 p.m. opening, we have a new volume profile forming for the next day, right? So you see it reject right off the 21 EMA. It comes back to the 21 EMA and it rejects off that brand new volume profile that's being that's maturing as the time goes by into the morning to New York session, right? So we got that rejection off the 21 EMA, and then it continues on up. It breaks out of the key entry point. It broke out. Potentially, you would, most of the time, you would take this, but you probably would have lost, right? Because it comes back against you. So that would have been a loss right there. But normally you would take that. The reason you would take that is because you broke out of the key entry point. And typically when you break out of the key entry point, you retest the key entry point, right? It didn't come all the way down. It couldn't even make it with the higher low. It couldn't make it all the way down. And then you get your indication candle letting us know, okay, when it breaks here, we enter right here. Okay. Letting us know that we can potentially be going up, because we're looking for buys if it go above the key entry point. We're looking for longs, right? But didn't work out. It comes back down. It breaks back into the key entry point. Now, typically, if you're trading, this is still Asian session. Now we getting ready to go into there's a session that nobody really talks about. It's called Frankfurt session. It happens at 1 a.m. And you have a break back in. Now, when we have a break back into the key entry point zone, right? Which is the zone, which is the range rules apply, right? So we in between this zone, this is now becoming a range because we back in this zone. We didn't really get the retest. We didn't get any type of green candle letting us know that we was gonna continue to drop. So you really don't have a trade right there. Okay. Typically, like I just said, I called it this is a range fade. So you're really looking for the same thing. You're looking for, you see how price tapped, you see how price taps that key entry point, and then you got an indication candle right here, so you can enter right here and you get the win. Right here, you don't have no tap off the key entry. You just got a straight drop. You just straight drop in the pot. You heard me? So you straight drop, and you don't have a trade with that one. But so here's me in the morning. I decide to, after hanging with my daughter, I decide to call myself getting into the markets on a Sunday morning, or Monday morning rather, Monday morning at 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. So I set myself up for 3 o'clock in the morning, and I see price. Hold on, y'all. So I see price especially on the left-hand side. I see price do the same thing, but I see it break out and it comes back in. Now, I have a strict rule now where I can't take any trades unless they're on or around the 21 EMA. This is my sense of direction. That's the only indicator that I use. It's a sense of direction. It's letting me know where price is going. Now, the reason why I said I kind of messed up taking this trade either way it go is because, like I said, and I said it a million times already, we are inside of a range. And per my rules, right, and I'm talking to myself throughout this video to educate and school myself, when we're in this volume profile range, price can go anywhere it wants. It could go back and forth if it wants. You don't have a real sense of direction because you're inside of this volume profile. Unless you're close to the key entry points, those are my A+ setups that I need to be taken. But I went against my rules this morning, rather. But I had the right idea. I went on some old school patterns, and what I seen this right here. I seen that price did something like this. So I seen this as well. What this used to be called, well, it used to be, it's still called this, is a inverted head and shoulders. So in other words, here's the head, here's the shoulders. You dig? So you see where price was at? Here go like the arms right here. This is the arm, this is the left arm, here's the right arm. It didn't go all the way up, but here's the right arm. So what I'm thinking is, okay, we in a range inside of a range. So once I get in the charts, in front of the charts at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm way over here. I don't have a trade. I don't have a trade at all. It breaks out. I don't have any type of indication letting me know to enter the trade. But what I do have here is price turning around, giving me an indication right here, a higher low, and then it gave me a indication right here that it was going to continue upward. So I entered my first trade right here. Okay. I entered my first trade right here. That was my first trade. I instantly got deep fried on the next candle. So then I started to realize, I started to say, oh, it's turning into a range. So what I did was I put a limit order. I said, okay. I said, this must be the one right here then. This gonna be the one because it broke out higher. So I put a limit order here just waiting on it. And I was just doing some other stuff on the computer, right? Put a limit order right here. It tapped in, immediately dropped. I got burnt on my second account. So I got 2 accounts with this company. I took 1 trade on this account and 1 trade on this account. That was my 2 losses for the day. I was done. I would say I broke my rules on my first day trading these accounts. I broke my rules, but it's okay. Because now I'm working on something that I've been hearing a lot in the futures trading industry. Less is more, right? So I've been working on taking 1 trade, okay? Just taking 1 trade on each account a day. If I make money, I make money. If I lose, then I'm done, right? It has to be a real A+ setup that came back and got me. Excuse me. And I really believe in the trade for me to take a second trade on that account. And that's how I'm pushing myself to move forward, okay? In this industry, I'm pushing myself to just be tighter. Less is more. Less trades a week. Less trades a day. Less trades a day and less trades a week. 1 trade a day on each account. 3 to 4 trades a week on all accounts. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Lessons, never losses. I took those losses, but those were lessons for me. You pretty much can say I traded and chopped. I guess my mind was insinuating that it was going to go up, which it did, as you can see. My entries have been pretty ugly here lately. What I mean is I have the right direction, right? This is what I didn't also share. I have the right direction, trend up, right? Trend break, right? Retest new highs. But we didn't make new highs because typically price will give you another leg and we'll retest new highs higher than this area, right? But we didn't make it. It didn't make it. We didn't even make it to the key entry point. We made it all the way to the key entry point and then we reversed later on that morning, right? So the lesson I learned from this is follow your doggone rules, Josh. You heard me? Follow your rules out there, y'all. man, follow your rules, because when you break your rules, I mean, you're gonna get hurt. Even though I had the right idea, even though I took the right setup, you know, the timing. Look at the timing. It was 4:00 in the morning. I should have been done with it. After an hour, I should have been done. After 3 a.m. and I've been sitting here for an hour and I didn't have a setup. Excuse me, like, and I'm in a range. I'm in a range inside of a range. Normally I take these ranges, but these ranges was too small for me. They was too wicked out. It was too much jumbo mumbo. You heard me? I was not supposed to be doing that. So that's it for the lessons never losses. Now I'm gonna give y'all an update. Story time real quick. I ain't gonna keep y'all long. Okay. You know, you hear a lot about psychology from different traders. You hear a lot about what you do outside of the charts can affect your trading. That is so true. I don't care how much you try to run from it. Like, I don't care about your win rate. I don't care about you. Even if you're getting payouts, it's going to eventually get to you. It's going to eventually tap into your consistency. It's going to eventually tap into your psychological when you're sitting in front of these charts if you don't get yourself together outside of the charts. So it's a couple of things that I'm going to share with y'all that I think my subscribers need to know, and the people that's in the outside world that's looking to subscribe to somebody that's authentic and real with this trading journey, and why I'm structured so hard. Because some people looking at this, they follow you, but they looking at this like he's gambling. Yeah. Some people looking at it like that ain't a real career. Some people looking at it wanting to really learn for real. Some people looking at it like, thank God you got somebody out here that's authentic and real about their journey, right? Every loss I take and any type of wins I take, any type of losses I take, I'm gonna share it with y'all as much as I can, right? But I realize how when you have a life and you're dealing with life outside of these charts, it really affect you. And I'm gonna tell you. So I know I dropped a video sharing briefly about my story of my life, and I know in the near future y'all will be able to get deeper into my life, because it's a heck of a story that I went through, that I'm still going through, that can potentially help so many people out there, especially in the trading world, because we misunderstood already. I was already born and misunderstood into this world. As I told y'all, I was adopted. So I already came into this world with abandonment and rejection issues, right? And so the person that gave me life, my father, my biological father, I had an individual, which is my sister, which I just met her through the phone, not in person yet. I met her through the phone a couple months ago, just recently. And she reached out to me and she checks on me. You know what I'm saying? She checked on me at least 2-3 times since we've been knowing each other. And she shared with me a picture of my father since the last time I met him, which was a day before Christmas. This was like 2023. That was the first time I met my biological father. You dig? In New Orleans, Louisiana. And nobody has been able to find him, but she found him. She found him along with one of my uncles that I haven't even met him yet. I haven't even had a conversation with him. You see, you deal with real stuff. People dealing with real stuff out here. And she shared a picture of him with me, and I just broke down. These days, back in the day, I didn't cry much. When I was growing up, I cried a lot. And I was trying to figure out why I cry so much. But I didn't pay attention to my surroundings, what I was going through, how I was different. Growing up with rats and roaches. Why going to school smelling like cigarettes, beer, drugs. You dig? Wearing the same clothes for a week. That's on the adopted side though. But biological is now coming out, and I'm purging these things that I've been through, and why I had to grow up to be such a tough guy, and why why I always cared about what people thought about me, and all of this stuff is coming out now outside of trading the charts. But I feel like something deep in me is telling me, besides God, shout out to the Most High, Yah, but besides the Most High, trading has brought all of this out from me, from the inside of me, to work on. Hence why I'm doing therapy and getting ready to go into another phase of therapy with someone else called trauma therapy. I done seen people I was this tall when I seen somebody in front of McDonald's. My adopted mother used to work for McDonald's as a manager. I seen somebody get shot up. I'm talking about multiple bullets in front of me while I'm sitting in the manager's office in the back. You know, the McDonald's drive-through, they got that window in the back. I seen that. I seen my first murder as a kid. My mama cried the whole way home. So I never got help for any of that. But to see my father in a picture and to see how much weight he's lost since the first time I ever met him, and he met me and told me he was on drugs. He's a functioning addict, y'all. And to say people look at me every day of my life and say, you just got a nice smile. And to say, he's such a nice guy, he's such a good guy. But yet I go through all this behind the scenes. Still uncovering my family. It's just coming to me. People calling me like, hey, such and such, this, that, and the third. Or, hey, you know, we found a picture of your mama. I got a picture of my mama right now, and I never met her, y'all. Why do I say all that? And like I said, I won't go into, because we getting into 26 minutes on this video, but what I will tell y'all is, if anybody out there going through anything, another thing, at the same time I got this family stuff purging out, these things are coming to my attention, right? Phone calls being had, things of that sort, right? I'm going through a phase in my life where the warehouse industry, and shout out to the warehouse industry for the last 20 odd years of my life, the oil field, the warehouse industry. I said that right. Yeah. I normally say Earl instead of oil because, you know, New Orleans people, whatever. But I now am realizing that my body can't take it no more in that industry. So not only am I going through the phase of learning who I am, because I went through this whole life, y'all, not knowing who I was. I'm trying to figure myself out. To also getting ready in August, I'll be 40 years old per the Gregorian calendar that the Western culture has created. Well, that's another story for another day. The Greeks and Romans. But I'll be 40 years old, and I feel like there's a pivot coming for my life. I got an older brother. Shout out my brother in Christ. Shout out David. David always tell me it's trading. You want another career, or you want another, but it's trading. It's your trading. You need to just focus on your trading career. And so that's why, as I started to get older, I started to take this thing seriously. About 2 to 3 years ago, I started to take a lot more seriously. And so now we here, and we got good individuals like Jeremy Gold Futures that's reaching out to me through comments. You got real good mentors that I'm tapped in with. And so if it's anybody out there that's going through life, you going through career changes, you going through hating your job, you going through stuff that people don't talk about. You got a mama that's on drugs. You got family members that don't understand you. They don't have an understanding of who you are, so they can't talk to you on a regular because they like to sweep things under the rug or be fake. You like to be more authentic and walk around. I'm talking to real traders for real, because a lot of people in this industry can't talk to people because they don't understand why you spending money on this stuff. You keep failing accounts. Why you keep doing it? They don't understand risk, ROI. Return on investment. They don't understand the business model behind it, and then taking the payouts and putting it in a live account and building your life up and being free. They don't understand freedom. You know, they don't understand how sick I am when I go to work. When I gotta go clock in tomorrow, how much pain I'm in. They don't understand. They say you need to be more patient, but you there's a thin line between patience and procrastination. The people I can show you who you are by the people that you're around. If you got a bunch of procrastinators around you, you're going to procrastinate. And then you're going to blame it on and call it impatience, excuse me, right? And sometimes, like now in my life, God has Josh in a place where I'm sitting still. I'm learning how to sit still because I've always been hustling. But then I make the decisions, and then the decisions backfire on me. So I'm looking for a different life for myself, right? So I've been fasting. That's why you may not see me upload videos sometimes because I'm fasted. I'm fasted from social media. I'm fasted from food. I'm talking about no eating, just straight water, because I want to hear from the Most High on what's my next move. This is a pivotal moment for me, y'all. You heard me? I'm in front of the computer. You talking to a guy that I didn't mess with this type of stuff back in the day, but I also told you deep inside, I wanted to be a techie guy. I'm a nerd because I love education. I love knowledge and wisdom and, discernment and acting on that. You know what I mean? So, I love innovation and evolution. I love to change with the times. But anyways, not to get off subject, if you dealing with any of that, just know it's going to come to these charts. So you want to sit back, you want to fast, you want to get some help if you need therapy. You heard me? I'm an advocate for that now, and it's the first time in my life for me touched and tapping into things that I've been through. And I'm still going through, as I shared with y'all, because I done heard a lot of people. I done put my hands on some, boy. I get a phone call back in the day saying, oh, such and such said this about, oh, yeah. And I wait like a crouching lion, crouching tiger, and I'm going to catch him slipping But I'm not with that no more, right? I'm not worried about what people say about me. I'm not worried about what people think. I'm turning over a new leaf in my life for my sake of myself, but my lineage, my daughters, and my kids that are coming through them that are going to be my grandkids. And this is going to open the door for that. This trading that y'all see on the screen, this is going to open the door for that. And for a lot of y'all, it's going to open the door for y'all. Despite whatever it is y'all going through, you ain't never went through nothing I'm talking about. You might just be going through financial battles. I go through them too. It's a damn financial battle when you make $500 on this a day, $700 in the trade, $1,000 in the trade, and then you got to go back and clock in, and you ain't made but a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? You know that's hard. That's tough in itself, y'all. So all those things, we deal with, we battle with. You heard me? And so I just want to open up my heart to y'all more and be more vulnerable on my channel. You dig? So it could touch and help somebody out there that need this. So if you stayed to the end of the video, you're a warrior. Shout out to you. You dig? Shout out to the lessons, following the lessons, never lost a series. And remember, all that you go through in life is just lessons. It's not losses. It's just lessons. Even if you lose somebody, it's just a lesson. Learn something from that. When you lose that person, you learn something from that. Okay. I need to up my rank in life. I need to work on not being a degenerate. I need to stop drinking alcohol. I need to stop smoking weed. I need to stop, hoeing around with them women. You dig? Whatever it is, I told you I'm gonna keep it authentic. Whatever you going through, we got to be here for each other, man. For real. So shout out to y'all for listening to the end. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you like. I love when y'all comment, man. It really helps me out mentally to be able to talk with you guys and share different ideas and whatnot. And when y'all message me, so shout out to y'all. I appreciate it. And that's it from me. Y'all already know what's happening with your boy. I'm out.